Hey Black Stars, just a brief reminder, try something new once in a while. Check this out. Well, it's half of one. This is a horned melon. The full fruit costs about $6.50. Goddamn expensive. See the inside? All seedy and stuff like that. Never thought a fruit would be more difficult, more of a pain in the ass to eat than a pomegranate. This one is. Tastes like anime. Tastes actually a little bit like kiwi, but it's not bad. It's just you got to eat it with a spoon, and the seeds are kind of like, you know, the white watermelon seeds. I don't know that you want to swallow them, but they're not pleasant to eat. Anyway, just wanted to throw that in there. But in other news, I want you to stop and think for a minute. We talk about martial arts and training a lot, and the differences between not only styles but methods, and and what certain methods are meant for and what they're not. And one of the things I want you to consider is the idea of, is your method born of war? Is it born of civil struggle? Or is it born of sport? And I can give you 3 good examples. Born of war is Japanese classical jiu-jitsu. It was built around the idea of taking on an armed opponent when you yourself don't have your weapon in hand. It's not the greatest idea to punch at somebody wearing heavy, hard armor, but locking and and throwing are very, very, very viable. Being able to take their weapon and turn it against them is very viable. It is an art born of war, something that is a very, very valuable tool. On the other side, born of civil conflict, we'll say Wing Chun. Wing Chun was not born for the battlefield, it was born for the... I say Wing Chun in the spirit of Ip Man Wing Chun. Wing Chun was around much longer and many other iterations before him, stemming all the way back to the Shaolin Temple. But even then, it was born out of civil struggle, dealing with bandits on the roads, roving gangs, whatnot. But it's built for that kind of struggle. It's not built for going up against, hordes and hordes of people. Could it work in that scenario? Perhaps. I see no reason why it couldn't be, but its original intended purpose is really street defense. The same can be said of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They took Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and retooled it for the civil struggles of the tough life in Brazil. Then you look at, say, competition-born sports. The first American competition combat sport that was ever born, catch-as-catch-can wrestling. It was built for sport from the ground up. It was never intended to be anything but sport. That's why it works so well in MMA. A lot of the moves and whatnot leave you laying prone as well, which would be terrible in a street fight, unless it was just strictly a one-on-one fight. But you have to understand that there are differences, and you have to understand where your art comes from and what the intention was for it from the beginning, and how it's been adapted over the years to work. Battlefield, civil struggle, competition, or some other. I'm sure there are many other categories. I mean, some people will practice just for health and wellness. It's not really a martial art at that point, but if you're practicing some of the similar movements that we do, people will always categorize it as such. Just some food for thought. Talk to you later. Good journey.